Hi guys, welcome back to the Scrap Zone. I'm Julie. I have a project share for you. If you've watched my video on the 10-page workshop I completed using the You Are Enough, this is what I did with the leftovers. So we're going to go quickly here through 9 beautiful cards using mostly the PML cards that were left over from that project. So here's a 4x6 and it's been cut down to 5 1/4, and then this is a 3x4 card and it's been matted with a sangria cardstock. I'm bringing back some of those beautiful flowers and they're all done in the same way. So if you want to know how to put those flowers together, I'll link that other video down in the description box below. So here's the completion of card number 1, and you'll see that we're going to go through this really quickly together. Here's card number 2, and I'm going to use Sangria as the main color. So this grow is really nice on a PML if you're using it in your scrapbook, but not so much for a card. I'm going to change that saying to you shine, and that really big butterfly fits perfectly on top. So here you see that I've glued down the backside of the butterfly, which is the solid piece. And then everything else just comes together really quickly and beautifully. Next up here is card number 3, and again I'm using the PML card, and it's been cut down to 5 1/4 just to fit on the card front base. These are all A2 size cards, and I'm going to bring in this really pretty flower, and I'm using the actual PML print at the back with that flower. Now I'm bringing in these new leaves just in case, because I know that the ones I used previously, not everybody had them, but these are coming up and you are going to love them. This little leaf here just reminded me of the graphic that's already on the PML card, and with a little bit of shimmer, it looks fabulous. So it looks really good done up in white, and with the peach and that little saying thank you. I think that those are really useful cards to have on hand. So if we're sticking with the peach theme, this piece here is a leftover again from the workshop, and then I did cut this one here and ran it through my embossing folder. Now if you don't have this embossing folder, just use something that's got a large print or something a little bit bigger, so that it doesn't conflict with this pattern right here. Now this piece here is about 3 1/2, and it works perfectly for these angle cards. Now you can really fuss and try and figure out all the angles. My tip here is I just take the corner and I put it at the bottom and I tilt it, and then I just add all of the pretty elements. This flower here was done in a variety of tones with the peach, and I'm bringing back these really pretty leaves. You're going to have so much fun with these leaves. There's so many options that you can do with them. I really love them. So this little guy was the butterfly that I used in most of my other workshop, but it was really muted and it was kind of getting lost. So I thought, why not bring in this little guy right here? So he's stamped in peach, and then I cut him out. I always cut 3 just in case, and I've got the 3 leaves, and I'm going to put this together. So this piece of cardstock here, I'm just going to cut it off. I'm just going to cut it off right here at the top. I'm using a larger scissor here only because as a left-handed crafter, cutting things is definitely not my superpower, but I found that if I use a longer tip scissor, it works really well for me. And there you have it. So you've got that cute little angle and those butterflies and that peach flower. I just think that this card looks really, really soft and sweet. And those leaves are so amazing. I really, really like those. You'll notice in these pictures here that I have the stitched rectangle. That's on the inside of each card. So this one here was not done with a PML. It was done with this pattern, and I found that this pattern was quite busy. But if you mat it with a darker color, you can see that it really works well. So this little piece is actually the leftover from card number 1. I stamped it in Sangria ink. Again, I used Thank You because I seem to need more of those cards, and I'm going to mat it with a piece of Sangria cardstock. So if you kind of separate your busy pattern with solid cardstock, it looks really good. So I added that beautiful butterfly, and this card is done, and that was just a leftover piece from that workshop again. So this one here again is a little busy. It's a busy print, and I did cut it down to 5 1/4. So I just took one piece off. I'm going to center that right on the A2 card. And here I have a piece of ballerina cardstock. It's 1/4 of an inch wider than this PML card. And I did add a little bit of raspberry ink on the edges. This is another color that is in that workshop, and I didn't really play with it previously, but I thought that for this card here, it looked really nice. The sentiment was stamped with Bluebell ink, and it goes right at the top to make room for that beautiful flower. So that is done in ballerina cardstock, and the center of the card is inked blend with that raspberry ink, and I find that it looks really pretty. All of these little leaves were shimmered up with clear shimmer, and it just adds a really nice touch. So these are the layered leaves, and they will be available really soon. I really like the way that this turned out. I like the softness and the playfulness of those colors. So these here, I'm going to make them together or show them together. This is actually a PML card, and I fussy cut the little butterfly out, and I kind of kept the word gorgeous. I brought back that embossing folder, and I used here the fancy border die just to give this piece a little bit of an edge. And you'll see here, like, this folder is really pretty. It's a timeless one, and I hope you have it in your stash, but if not, I'm sure you'll find something that's going to work just fine. So this is a piece of glacier, and the butterfly is going to go right on top. Now, if you don't want to cut that butterfly, you can always use the die cut since it's such a pretty one. So I've got two pieces. I've got this piece at the front done up in the white, and then the second piece is white with a little bit of glacier. And it looks really soft. So this one here is done on the vertical side. So you've got one vertical and one horizontal, and that is a PML card that was cut down to 5 1/4. So we're going to put that right on the card front, and that goes right on top. You've got that nice little bordered edge with the stitched detail, and then that butterfly is going to go right there. So really like the PML one. I think that it looks great. And then this one looks really good too. So I don't know which one is my favorite, but I like them both. This one here was a little tricky to cut. So you've got your PML card. It's been cut to 5 1/2, this one. And then I'm going to bring in my stitched border, and I'm going to cut the first piece. I want to make sure to see the stitching. So for the second piece, you have to flip it over so that you get this beautiful detail on both pieces, because that's what makes it so pretty. So you just have to go one pass with the one on the top, and then the second pass goes at the bottom, and you flip that over. This piece, actually, you're not going to need it, and you'll see in a minute. I'm going to put this down here, and because I've got a space, I can cover the entire card front. So this one here is cut at 5 1/2. I'm going to bring in that flower, a few butterflies, and yes, I had leftover leaves, so I'm going to bring in those leaves right here. I'm going to stamp thank you in that white space right here using, I think I'm using Bluebell. Bluebell, and I did use my shimmer brush on that flower. And I really like the way this turned out as well. So I hope that I've provided you with enough inspiration to keep on using your stash and use those PML cards. They make wonderful cards. If you want to see that scrapbooking workshop, click this video right here on the top. Once again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and have yourself a wonderful day.